Before we begin, I was just informed of the passing of Sam Jankovic, who was the athletic director here, really, and then when it all started, in '83 through the run of the 3 First National Championships. So just on behalf of the entire University of Miami family, I want to express our condolences to his family and just our thoughts to all of his friends and certainly what he meant to helping build even what this is today and his impact on that. Beyond that, in terms of what's going on with us currently, you may be interested to know that Jaron Williams will be our starting quarterback Saturday at Florida State. I'll pause to let you all tweet that out. And quite simply, before I answer questions, quite simply, Jaron Williams has been our starting quarterback. And as I mentioned, what happened a week ago is that as any starting position on the team, there is still a standard for preparation. That Jaron was beat out that week by Nkosi. That's why Nkosi was our starter versus Pitt. This was never, we've not, but again, as I mentioned all year, I think it's important for the University of Miami to have a guy at quarterback. Jaron has been our guy, but we also have to reserve the right to make sure that everybody's competing, on Green Tree practice field, in meeting rooms, in everything that we do to the standard of the University of Miami. So, one thing that Dan Enos has been in charge of is not just, getting that position right, getting the offense right, but has been changing the culture of how our quarterbacks work, how our quarterbacks prepare in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so, like I said, we're excited to have Jaron lead us out there against Florida State Saturday.
I mean, just to be clear, so you name a starter, but there's still competition ongoing, as there is probably at every position. But always, you're not saying Jaron's going to be the guy the rest of the year. Basically, he's the starter of this game. What
I'm saying is that Jaron, the way I feel is this: I've said all along, never wavered in the fact that Jaron Williams is our starting quarterback. No different than Shaq Quarterman is our starting middle linebacker. However, there are things that you can do in practice to lose your job, or there are things that can happen if another guy, outworks you or out-exceeds you. If you don't do that, then you lose all credibility. And that's simply what the lesson of last week was all about.
And was Jaron much better this week?
Outstanding week, yes.
DJ and Pinkney, how were they?
They both look great. Excited to have both those guys on Saturday.
We saw that Tate was in the orange jersey.
Yep.
Does that mean he's no longer? What does that mean?
Yeah, Tate's working in our quarterback room.
Is he a receiver still?
He has the flexibility to go in there if we want him, but he's spending his time primarily now with the quarterbacks.
Well, what made you decide to do
It
that?
was what his progress as a wide receiver, and where we felt he could help the team best was actually still having his feet in the QB room.
And how's he doing? I know he was on medical leave.
He's doing much better this week. Again, it's when he's around us, it's been really good. He's been really positive. A very hard worker. So, doing a good job.
I mean, some teams have started using like 2 quarterbacks, some in certain situations. FSU, Louisville. Is that something where Nkosi could fit better in certain spots, or maybe even Tate in certain packages? I mean, is it possible that you'll look to do something like that moving forward?
If you had a need for that, but I still feel this way. I'd like to see us get going, and establish an identity. If we go press the Wayback Machine, which feels like a way back a long time ago, coming out of the Florida game and into the North Carolina game. Bethune, we didn't play the way we wanted to, but we really felt like Jaron was off to an outstanding start to the season. Didn't have a great day against Central Michigan. I think our preparation had a lot to do with that. I think we learned the beginning of a lesson that day. Then we took another week off, and then we sat there, and obviously we had a bad start against Virginia Tech. But I'd like to see that thing get rolling again. I mean, there's been a gap, from what we really felt like coming out of training camp would be the identity of our offense. So I'd like to get, as I mentioned, the importance of what we've been through the last few years, the importance of getting behind a guy, that's why we said Jaron's been our guy, and let's get rolling.
I mean, with Greg Rousseau, who's obviously learning how to play defensive end, how much film of other guys did you guys show him to help him kind of learn the position? And I guess what did you show him when he was first getting his feet wet at it?
Well, I mean, you're always going to show, number one, the guys that have come before him in this defense. We've had some really good guys that have come through. Obviously Joe Jackson a year ago, we got to watch Joe every day. Chad Thomas, because we've now built a 4-year cut-up library of defensive end play, and obviously we led the nation in sacks in 2017. So there's been some examples of how to get after the quarterback. So you start with that. You start with the teaching progression. The things, because we all have to remember, Greg played safety at Shopping Out. He played wide receiver. I mean, he painted the field. He mixed the Gatorade. I mean, the guy did everything. When he came here, it was the evolution of okay, how to become a defensive end. He got a spring you know, and then in the first month of his first season, he was out for the year. So again, getting back this past spring, he had an excellent spring. As we talked about his training camp, he fell behind the other guys because, you know, he had a lower back issue. But as his confidence has grown and he's gotten more involved in the game, I mean, he has some things naturally that you don't have to watch a video. You know what I mean? That's just, he has a great knack. His ability to, his length, his movement skills are all elite.
You guys talked about him not necessarily having the best fall camp compared to what you guys maybe thought he could do. Are there specific things like you've seen him just improve on as the season has gone that have let you guys have him as a starter on the field?
Go. The biggest thing is go. And here's the thing: young players think, right? Older players, experienced players go. Younger players are counting their dance steps. Older players just let it rip. And that was really Greg's thing. Greg, you know, in training camp, he's such a pleaser. He's very intelligent, and he wants to do everything exactly right. And sometimes there can be players getting in a habit of perfectionism where they try to do everything too correct. And said, hey, sometimes let knockback solve some of the problems. And once Greg realized he's so much stronger, Coach Feely did an amazing job with him. If I just cut it loose and let it rip, I'm pretty hard to block. And I think that's really the step. And he's not the first guy to go through that progression, you know. And so it's been exciting to see him get his confidence in the games.
So 2 more questions for Coach. By the way, Greg, I mean, you're recruiting, or who was the guy that kind of discovered it and said, okay, Coach,
I mean, there was a bunch of us involved, but I was the one that had I had the same as I had seen Manny Lawson, who was a very similar guy in high school, went to a very small high school in North Carolina, played wide out, very similar to Greg, very long levered guy that you know, ended up being a first-round draft choice defensive end.
Hey Manny, I don't think anyone's asked you this yet, but you've almost been a head coach for a year now, I guess, especially if you date back to the previous program. What have you learned, I guess, or have there been surprises that don't what you expected? Can you sort of reflect on it a little bit?
You know, don't spend a lot of time reflecting back on it. It's been a season of obviously things that have been hard to predict. You know, but we've obviously gone through all types of situations that, you know, as I keep saying, we've probably had a few years of adversity and packed into a couple months. Some of that self-inflicted, for sure. You know, but what I have seen is I have seen a team that's come together. I've seen a team that is starting to forge an identity. You know, and again, I know I keep preaching on it, but you know, the way that we never quit, the way that we continue to fight, the way that we believe, and I'm talking about offense, defense, special teams, that we're always trying to find a way to win the game, is something in year one that I'm proud of.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, man.